Welcome back. So now I'm actually going to be finishing the rest of the foundation and essentially going to go move on forward with the rest of the Halloween look. Enjoy. Okay, so I'm actually going to be mixing two foundations here. My favorite foundation, Face and Body by Makeup Forever. I'm mixing a couple colors, well, two of them. I always use the world's smallest brushes. You don't have to, but I always like using tiny, tiny foundation brushes. Okay, so now that the foundation has been applied, I can actually go in and use some eyeshadows on top of that. And I'm going to be using the same brown and black eyeshadow pigments on the eye. So using a small kind of smudgy brush, look up. Look straight. Turn to me and look up. And look up. Okay, and now I'm going to be using some black eyeshadow. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to be using the Nye Cream makeup. Okay, so now I'm actually going to be doing the skull part, kind of a modernized version of it. So whenever I'm starting off, I always kind of like to sketch out where I'm going to be going, we're going to be putting the makeup instead of going right into it. So roughly, we're going to be outlining where the zygomatic bone, which is your cheekbone. A really quick and easy way to find where that is essentially by lining the brush to your nose, and that's always going to be the top part of your bone. And from the corner of, or the corner of your ear to the corner of lip, that's always going to be the bottom part, the deepest part of your bone. So keeping that in mind, you're almost going to do one of these guys. Also, whenever you look at a Halloween skeleton or mask or anything Halloween inspired, if you look at an actual skull, your bone curves. So just always keep that in mind. So for this, I'm not going to go 100% anatomically correct, but I am going to actually keep that in mind and bring a nice curve in and start bringing it down. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with the way that looks. I'm going to go do that on the other side. Okay. So creams are very forgiving. I'm going to start by bringing and blending this in. This is also the reason why I didn't put any foundation down here, because I am going to be using the white on it. Now I'm going to be switching to more of a circular brush, something to buff it easier with, so that I don't get these streaks. You don't want to overblend because then you lose all that intensity of the color. It becomes flat. Bring a little bit more here. And since it is Halloween, just always make sure to have fun with it. Like if you make a mistake and it looks cool, just kind of go with it.
white comment.
We're gonna put something on it later. But for now. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm gonna be setting this with some white translucent powder. Careful with the translucent powder that you guys use. Some of them are light reflective, so if you're gonna be going out for Halloween and you take a photo, all the light's gonna be like reflecting back and you actually end up just being like a glowing white ball. I'm sure some of you guys have seen that somewhere. Makeup fails. Okay. So now using that exact same crayon we were using earlier, just gonna trace right underneath that. Okay, and grabbing a brush. And that down. Find that using actual brush to do this is much easier than using the pencil itself. Kind of trying to get this with a straight line, it's much harder. So using this to actually guide you to help you make a straight line is much easier. Same when you're using eyeliner actually on your eyes. I like to actually apply a little bit on the eyelid and use a brush to actually straighten it out. It's much easier. Okay, and then now I'm grabbing this black eyeshadow. I'll be applying this. Go set the eyeliner so it can last longer and also to get a better gradient going down so it's more even. Going in small, circular little. Okay, so now I'm gonna be using the OCC lip tar in red, and this guy's also really pigmented, so a little goes a long way. So now I'm gonna be using a water activated paint, face paint. This guy is Wolfe Brothers, it's a black one. It's one of my favorite black body paints I ever use. And I'm gonna be using a regular, kind of like a painter's brush. I sprayed a little bit of water to activate it. You're gonna use the same black as an eyeliner, looks great. Okay, open your eyes. Great. Open back. So now I'm gonna be applying the lashes. Careful when you're taking out the lashes from the actual case and not to mess up the corners here. Take them out really gently. I'm using a tweezer, which I can't find. But just pull it out really gently. Depending on what look you're going for really matters on what eyelashes you're getting. So for example, these ones kind of really flare out at the ends, which is kind of what I want for this look because we have a very winged out look. If you kind of want more of a wide-eyed look, you'd want to get lashes that are actually kind of fuller in the middle and kind of almost the same sizing in the front and on the back. So it really depends. I find that people who have a more of a prominent brow bone, they really like the flared out look because it just kind of elongates their eyes a bit more as opposed to the longer or the wide-eyed look because it almost accentuates how large their brow bone is. So it really depends. Trial and error. Always try to go for more natural. And if you feel more comfortable with those, you can always opt out for maybe larger lashes instead of going for the prettiest and biggest ones right off the bat and then getting really scared when you put them on. I'm using the Duo eyelash glue. This one dries out and dries clear. This guy's also really good if you're gonna be applying any gems for Halloween time. So what I'm gonna do is just grabbing a brush, back end of the brush, dipping it in my glue, putting it on the end of the lash here. Now, normally I would size them and I would put them right up against someone's eye or my own eye just to see if it fits. But since this is a Halloween look, I want them to be as big as possible and I'll even put them at the end of the eye. That way you can get the most out of the lash. But typically I wouldn't do that. If you do have a latex allergy, I really recommend reading glue labels, lash glue labels before because a lot of them do have latex in them. Also depending on how severe your latex allergy is. I know if I were to put if I were to put lashes on my mom's eyes, I would probably glue them shut because she's very, very allergic. Okay, so just look down. Okay, so everyone kind of has like a little fold in the eyelid. So when you're putting lashes, almost put it right on the fold of the eye. So right where your lashes start growing. Just really push it right in there. That way you don't have to worry about it poking out in the middle of the night. Just really pushing it in. And then you almost kind of like roll this lid over. Anytime I always finish applying lashes, I always like to give a little tug at the ends, just to see if it comes out at all. And if it does, then just re-glue it. Okay, how do they feel?
Good.
Comfy? Mm-hmm. Awesome. If your lashes do poke in the middle of the eyes, just remove them and kind of try to re-glue it either a little bit higher up, or you're gonna have to remove the entire lash itself and place it a little further away. He has amazing, awesome big eyes, so it's not really that big of a problem. I know for me, every time I put my lashes on, I have to reposition them like a billion times before I get it right, just because my lashes always poke my eyes. It's just the way it is. So don't feel bad, and also don't feel bad if you don't get it right the first time. Try asking maybe someone else to help you out with. I know I always have to do that. Okay. Yeah, so you can see here, needs a little more glue. Oh, by the little more glue, I mean the whole thing needs glue. Okay. back up. Great.